On the Let's Talk television program, we share solutions to real-life problems with real people, showing how faith guides everyone through the storms of life. We talk about tough issues that affect all generations. Our conversations help you learn, grow, and lead. Help us continue with this great work by partnering with us today. Call 905-625-1278, extension 233, or visit letstalkca.org. We look forward to your partnership with us to change lives. Let's Talk, revealing the heart of Christ through engaging media conversations.
Sometimes you walk through life alone, wondering if anyone understands what you are going through, hoping someone will listen and offer a word to make your day. The Church of God of Prophecy offers unconditional love and support, regardless of what you are going through. Visit cogop.ca for a location near you. The Church of God of Prophecy, developing authentic disciples of Christ.
Hello, and welcome to another segment of Let's Talk. I'm your host, Woodroe Thompson, and it is a pleasure to have you joining us again. We have an exciting program for you this evening. My guest this evening is a musician, a clinician, educator, author, and consultant. His musical journey includes a wide range of experiences in church, community, and educational settings. He is an Ontario certified teacher with specialist qualifications in music and business, and has been teaching high school music full-time for the past 14 years with the Peel District School Board. He's currently the founding course director of the Gospel Choir course at the University of Toronto, the first gospel music credit course offered in the history of the institution. He holds a master's diploma in contemporary vocal performance and composition from Grant MacEwan University, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Music from York University, Bachelor of Education from the University of Toronto, and a Master of Music in Music Education from the University of Western Ontario. He's currently a doctoral candidate in music education at the University of Toronto. My guest this evening is none other than Darren Hamilton. Welcome back to Let's Talk.
Thank you, Bishop. Thanks for having me.
It's been a while since we engage on this platform, so it's good to see you.
You too, sir.
The last 2 years have been challenging, not only for schools, not only for teachers, but for everyone. How have you navigated the last 2 years?
Well, I think the key word that comes to mind in terms of navigating the last 2 years is flexibility. Definitely being flexible and recognizing that because so much has been changing in our world in the last 2 years, we've had to become flexible and prepared to adjust our way of doing things and also adjust our expectations because the things that we would normally be able to do pre-COVID, we're unable to do, or maybe not able to do in the same way. And so really being flexible and thinking about ways to adjust the way that we approach our day-to-day lives.
Right. Well, the word flexibility is a good word when it comes to the past 2 years. Now, Darren, you've served, and for those who are new to who you are, you've served COGOP Eastern Canada for some time as music and worship director. You've served the Western Worship Center. And we were blessed to have you as a gift to our congregation and to Eastern Canada. But for the last 5 years, those of us who are part of COGOP are somewhat lost touch with you. What has been happening in music and worship within the last 5 years, I think it's been?
Wow. A lot has been happening. It's actually been almost 7 years since.
Oh, it's 7. Okay,
it's almost 7 years.
Right.
And a lot has been happening. I've been involved a lot in the secular arena. Just exploring and pursuing my musical endeavors, both as an educator in the education system, joining community groups such as Toronto Mass Choir, which I spent some time with,
Right.
My wife, Vanessa, and I spent some time with Toronto Mass Choir, starting our own choir out here in Waterloo region where we now live.
Right.
And, pursuing additional educational endeavors and doing a lot of just exploring a lot of new things, particularly in the last 2 years since the pandemic hit. I've had an opportunity to explore writing. I've had an opportunity to publish articles in the Canadian Music Educator journal.
Right.
And I've also been presenting workshops in gospel music at the Ontario Music Educators Conference. I've been doing that for the past 5 years, helping to show music educators across Ontario how they can include gospel music in their music curriculum.
Very good. Well, Darren, we're proud of you. Working with you, I knew that you were someone with a passion for what you're doing. It's good to see that. March 1st, 2022 was the 2022 Juno Award nominees, an announcement. And man, I was excited to find that you were named among the nominees for the 2022 Music Count Teacher of the Year Award. How do you feel? How does that impact you?
Wow, that was that was a huge that was a huge accomplishment, and
Right.
I was definitely overwhelmed to learn that I was amongst the 5 nominees for the award.
Right.
The award has been issued for the past, I think, 15 or 16 years, since 2005 that they've been issuing that award at the Junos. And it's just a huge humbling experience to be recognized for the work that I've been doing in music education over the years, and to be honored in on such a national platform is a huge, it's an overwhelming experience.
Well, Darren, you're a hard worker, and you're someone who is, like I said before, demonstrates passion and excellence in all that you do. I can verify for that firsthand. You have served as a member of the Juno Award nominated Toronto Mass Choir, as you mentioned before, and you're a regular clinician at the choir's annual Power Up Gospel Music Workshop. Tell us more about those workshops.
Sure. The Toronto Mass Choir has been offering Power Up for, I think it's about 18 or 19 years now.
Wow,
And
it's that long, eh?
yeah, it's been that
Wow.
long.
Right.
And this conference is a weekend workshop that happens in February of each year, providing attendees an opportunity to learn various aspects of gospel music, from songwriting to vocal performance to workshops in piano, workshops in bass. And the highlight of the conference is participating in the Power Up Mass Choir, which is run by Professor Karen Burke.
Right.
And that's an opportunity for participants to learn a number of gospel pieces over the course of the 2 days of the conference, and then to perform at a live concert on the Sunday evening of the conference. My involvement since joining Toronto Mass Choir in 2015 was starting a new workshop, or a new ensemble group called the Power Up Chorale, which started in 2017. And this was a workshop offering that allowed participants who wanted to have a more focused vocal ensemble learning experience in a smaller group, where we spend time learning more detailed vocal technique, things, dynamics, articulations, and performance aspects of gospel music, that they can do that in that smaller setting as opposed to the large mass choir setting. And so those individuals would spend time together over the course of 3 workshop sessions over the Power Up weekend, and then they would perform as part of the finale concert at the end of the weekend. And so we've been doing that we did that for 3 years, from 2017 to 2020, before the pandemic hit. And when Power Up celebrated its 15th year anniversary in 2019, we had an opportunity to record along with some of the other ensembles from the conference for the live Power Up CD. And so that was a great experience, being able to perform with the Power Up Chorale and record as part of that Power Up CD.
Wow, that's amazing. On February 4th, Black History Month, I was able to watch a wonderful interview with recording artist Rufus John and the Waterloo Region Mass Choir, and you were on as the artistic director with, I think, Parents of Black Children, and this was about the Freedom Marching Project, launch of that EP. I mean, when I got home, my wife told me, Darren will be on tonight, so we sat together and we watched, because we're proud of you. Tell us about that.
Sure. The Freedom Marching Project was birthed out of the George Floyd incident that happened in
Right.
2020. And so in the summer of 2020, there was a Black Lives Matter march that took place
Right.
in Kitchener with approximately over 30 people that attended that march.
Right.
And leaving that march, the founder of the Freedom Marching Project, Rufus John, just felt a burden to respond to the social injustice that the Black community was facing.
Right.
And as a result of that, being an artist himself, an R&B artist, he started collaborating and collecting a group of other creatives, and decided that he wanted to write a song and to produce a song and release a song that addresses the social injustice. And that's
Correct.
where Freedom Marching came about. And initially, it was a song that he was planning to record himself as an artist. But as he started working with other individuals, they started collaborating on the writing process. And then he reached out to me to get involved when he started to envision having a choir involved in the recording process. He started to realize that the song was much bigger than himself. And so, he started to reach out to additional artists from the R&B and gospel and pop community. And I think he has over 30 artists that are involved in the project in total. And so there was a hip hop and an R&B version of the song that was released, along with 2 music videos. And those items were released just before Black History Month this year.
Very good. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. We'll continue with Darren Hamilton in just a minute.
On the Let's Talk television program, we share solutions to real-life problems with real people, showing how faith guides everyone through the storms of life. We talk about tough issues that affect all generations. Our conversations help you learn, grow, and lead. Help us continue with this great work by partnering with us today. Call 905-625-1278, extension 233, or visit letstalkca.org. We look forward to your partnership with us to change lives. Let's Talk, revealing the heart of Christ through engaging media conversations.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. My guest this evening is Darren Hamilton. Now, Darren, you're the founder and the artistic director of the Waterloo Regional Mass Choir. How did that come about? What was the vision behind that?
Sure. Almost 5 years ago, Vanessa and I decided to move from the GTA out west, and we relocated to Kitchener, Ontario. And shortly after we relocated, we started visiting churches in the area, and we started looking, going to events and visiting churches. And one of the quick things that we quickly realized was that there was an absence of gospel music in this community. And, being someone that has lived most of his life in gospel music, growing up in gospel music in the church, and being involved in so many gospel groups throughout the years, I just started to feel the Lord calling me to start a gospel choir out in this region. And so that's how the choir got started. It was a huge leap of faith because we really didn't know anybody out here when we moved out. And so, I questioned God. I was like, you want us to start a choir? Like, we don't know anybody. Where do we start? How do we do this? And so we got some flyers together, started distributing. We held auditions. And lo and behold, we had a group of individuals. One of the interesting things as we went through the audition process, and we were interviewing prospective choir members, one of the questions we asked was, why do you want to join this choir?
Right.
And one of the recurring responses that we received were individuals expressing that they've been longing to have an opportunity to be a part of a gospel choir in this region, but there wasn't an outlet for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that became a confirmation for us that this was indeed what the Lord was calling us to do in this region.
Well, I mean, we miss you in the GTA area, but man, God does have a sense of humor, doesn't he? How large is the choir?
The choir is approximately 25 members.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, that's impressive, especially in these times in trying to put choirs together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen you on Facebook, and, because that's where I get to see you most in some of the rehearsals, some of the things that you're doing. And I must tell you, I've been blessed by what I've seen so far. The choir shared the stage with the Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony and the Grand Philharmonic Choir. I mean, that must have been amazing for this choir to come together and be able to share the stage with these folks. What was that like? How did they feel about doing that?
The Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony is a very long-standing musical orchestra from this community. And so they've been hosting the Yuletide Spectacular Christmas concert series for a number of years, number of decades, in fact, in this community. And so it was definitely a highlight. Our choir was fairly young. It was actually within our first year of starting that we got asked to participate in this event with the Kitchener-Waterloo Symphony and the Grand Philharmonic Choir. And they were just wanting to do something a little bit different with their annual program by adding a little bit of gospel music into the program. And so just the timing just happened to be perfect that we were starting a gospel choir in the community, and they were looking to have a representation of gospel music in their Christmas program. And so we had an opportunity to perform with the orchestra. I had an opportunity to arrange to do a orchestral arrangement of Jesus, Oh, What a Wonderful Child, which was really great for us to perform that and to actually hear that arrangement being performed with this orchestra. And then being able to also perform, we performed the Hallelujah Chorus from Soulful Messiah with the Grand Philharmonic Choir as the finale piece for this event. And it was also a great experience. It was a huge experience for the choir members. Many of them have not had as much performance experience as I have had as a director, being involved in so many previous groups who have had that opportunity to perform on those types of stages. And so it was definitely a great experience for the choir members to be able to be on a large stage like that, a large platform like that, and to perform at such a groundbreaking event within the community. And that actually led to a number of additional opportunities for the choir. Over the course of the 3-day weekend of that event, there must have been at least 5,000 people that have come through to watch that event over the course of 4 concerts over 3 days. And so after seeing the choir perform, we had a lot of people approach us to express how refreshing it was to hear gospel music represented at the event. And we just started getting booked for additional concerts and additional community events after that.
Well, that's impressive. Within 1 year of the choir being organized, that you're able to do that. Now, Darren, you're featured on the cover of the Canadian Music Educator Journal for your debut academic article, Black Music Matters. Man, that must have been exciting to have not only been featured, but for them to just highlight Black Music Matters. Tell me about that, and tell me more about why you think Black music matters.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was definitely exciting to be featured on the cover and to have my first academic publication published in the Canadian Music Educator.
Right.
Um, Black Music Matters. The foundation for that article was stemmed from, again, the murder of George Floyd in
Right.
2020. And as we know, our society was taking a huge look at the issue of anti-Black racism.
Oh, yes.
Many institutions were now reflecting more heavily on the issue and looking at their policies, looking at ways in which they can reform um, the way that systemic racism, so that you know, black black people and racialized individuals are not being affected by racism.
Right.
And as a music educator, the premise of the article was looking at how anti-Black racism exists in the field of music education. Being an individual that has gone through formal music education, I've gone to college, I've gone to university, I've gone to graduate school, and my experiences pursuing music education, believe it or not, they were very unpleasant at times, and mainly because I had certain aspirations. I had desires to study and to learn
Right.
different forms of Black music, but those forms of Black music, such as gospel or R&B or
Right.
soul, were not represented in the curriculum in the institutions.
Yeah.
And so that made my experience of studying music very, very difficult. I did study classical music, and so I had the background training and knowledge to be able to read music notation and to get through those traditional Western programs. But
Right.
but in terms of remaining engaged and feeling like I belonged, the other issue was that oftentimes I was one, if not the only, I was one of the very few Black music students that were
Right.
present
Right.
in the music classroom. And so oftentimes it felt also very isolating, pursuing music education formally and not seeing a lot of people that look like me sitting in my music classes, and not seeing a lot of people that looked like me teaching my music courses. And
Right.
so I going through and being a Black music educator myself, I felt that it was important to address the issue of
Yes.
anti-Black racism in the field of music education, and the importance of Black music being included in the curriculum,
Right.
and what positive implications that would have for Blacks and other racialized students in terms of their engagement in formal music education.
Very good. Well, you've raised the bar where that's concerned, because you're the founding course director of the gospel choir course at the University of Toronto. And this is the first gospel music credit course that is offered in the history of this institution. Darren, how did you manage that? I mean, apart from God helping you and directing you, but how did you manage that?
Well, I've had a lot of support along the way through a lot of my supervisors and advisors through grad school. And
Right.
so when I started attending University of Toronto to pursue my PhD studies in gospel music pedagogy, I had supervisors that, and typically when you're pursuing a doctoral program or
Right.
any graduate program, you're often given opportunities to teach or to TA, to
Right.
get that teaching experience. And at the time, U of T had nothing that existed
Right.
currently that was representative of the area of research that I was pursuing, which was gospel music. And so they opened the door and allowed me to start a gospel choir course at the university alongside of my graduate work that I was doing there.
Right. Well, Darren, I would like to tell you that I can't wait to refer to you as Dr. Darren Hamilton. Uh, I'm just excited for you. Well, as you mentioned, as I mentioned, you are nominee for the prestigious Musicount Teacher of the Year Award, which will be presented at the 2022 Juno Awards on May 15, 2022. And man, I am excited for you. I'm praying for you. I'm hoping that that award will be presented to you. How do you feel about that?
Again, it is a huge accomplishment. It's a
Right.
humbling feeling. I think as I've been reflecting over the past two weeks about
Right.
this
Right.
since the announcement, I think one of the things that really excites me and helps me to just take it all in is just
Right.
remembering being at a particular place in my life several years ago where I was
Right.
extremely discouraged about
Yeah.
where my music career was going. I found myself at a place where I was looking at a lot of the musical goals and aspirations that I had at the time, aspirations of, of writing and publishing
Right.
some of my original songs and producing and even recording music. And that wasn't happening in my life. And
Right.
but I was seeing it happen for a lot of my peers in the
Right.
Toronto gospel community. And that made me feel very discouraged. And as I was going through that process, I found myself just asking God a lot of questions about, why is this happening? And why do I feel like this? And why do I feel like, I've invested so much time and money pursuing formal music education, but some of the dreams and goals that I have, they're still not coming to fruition. And then the Lord just reminded me to look at some of these other gifts and abilities that I have, particularly in the arena of music education. And so I stopped focusing on some of the other things that I had aspirations of being. And I started to look at just developing myself more within the arena of music education. And as I mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of us represented in this field.
Correct.
And so I started doing that. And so as I reflect now to, several years ago, my aspiration would have been to, be a recording artist or to be a producer or to write some songs and to, maybe be nominated for a Juno for that type of work.
Right.
But to then find myself going in this direction of music education and pursuing that wholeheartedly, and to then see things come full circle to now be nominated for a Juno Award for Music Teacher of the Year is just, it's a huge blessing. I'm extremely honored and thankful to God for the opportunity, and looking forward to what the outcome is going to be. But I'm extremely, it's a great honor to be recognized for the work that I've been doing in music education, and to know that God has been faithful in the midst of some of the challenges I've faced in the past, and some of the periods of discouragement that I've faced, to be able to overcome that and to get to this point, and to see God's faithfulness in the midst of all of that.
Well, Darren, I want to tell you, as someone who has watched you over the years, worked with you, and to see how far you have come, I'd like to tell you that the entire Koga family is proud of you. We're praying for you and we're rooting for you. You've always been a blessing. Not only did you help us with our music and worship, but you've written songs for our convention. I mean, you have raised the bar. Congratulations, and our prayers are with you. Please say hello to Vanessa for me. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
God bless. Well, folks, that's all the time that we have for Let's Talk this afternoon. But I love how Darren ended the interview in speaking about the faithfulness of God. And I know sometimes we wonder, what is God doing? As we go through difficulties in our lives, we fail to realize that God is still in control, and he has a plan and a purpose for our lives. And so I'd like to encourage you, just keep looking to him. If you have never come to know Jesus Christ as Savior, I'd like to encourage you to call upon him. He has a great plan for your life, and he will bless you tremendously if you'll call upon him. God bless you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. That's all the time we have. We'll see you next time. Let's keep talking.
On the Let's Talk television program, we share solutions to real-life problems with real people, showing how faith guides everyone through the storms of life. We talk about tough issues that affect all generations. Our conversations help you learn, grow, and lead. Help us continue with this great work by partnering with us today. Call 905-625-1278, extension 233, or visit letstalkca.org. We look forward to your partnership with us to change lives. Let's Talk, revealing the heart of Christ through engaging media conversations.
Sometimes you walk through life alone, wondering if anyone understands what you are going through, hoping someone will listen and offer a word to make your day. The Church of God of Prophecy offers unconditional love and support, regardless of what you are going through. Visit cogop.ca for a location near you. The Church of God of Prophecy, developing authentic disciples of Christ.